starting live here, and we're rolling.
Hello, darlings. I believe we're rolling. Well, most of me is anyway, as you know. So, yeah, thank you for joining us again. Glad you could come aboard. And first of all, I have to say we're all so sad and so shocked about the passing of John Singleton yesterday.
Oh, no.
51 years old.
That's way too
And,
young.
you know, what a trailblazer he was.
Oh, yeah.
And, what a leading light.
Youngest person ever to be nominated for an Oscar.
Yes, I know.
24 years old.
But bless him, he was only 51 and his family decided to, take him off life support, which must have been a dreadful, dreadful decision. But he leaves behind him a terrific legacy and a lot of memories from, God bless him. Let's always remember John Singleton.
Absolutely.
So, as usual, there's been so much going on in all of our worlds, all this. It's hard to keep up, especially for an old fart like me. Can you say fart?
You just did.
I just did, didn't I? Yeah.
Doesn't that mean in England? What does that mean?
No, Trump in England means fart. Oh, but this is a non-political area. We don't talk about that. But the word Trump, if you make a little gaseous exit from your rear end, you say, oh, sorry, I just trumped. So, but that's
when he was flying that plane around, they must have
Trump
wondered
won.
They must have wondered what the fuel was.
What does it fly on? My friends in England used to write to me and say, what's all this farting aeroplane about?
Well, it turns out they were all right. It runs on hot air. Oh, never mind. Moving on.
Moving right along.
We'll edit that out later.
Yeah.
From
Oh, I
this live
know. That
broadcast.
presidential race things, it's so crazy. I mean, everybody's in the race, I think, except Oprah. And maybe, who knows? Because there's just so many people joining. Do you think I could be a presidential
Angie
candidate?
for president.
Ange for president.
Not with that pillow behind you.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got the right hairdo though, haven't I? Got the comb over.
It's
I've got
Joe Biden coloured.
Yeah. I've got my woolly hat on today because it's a bit chilly. By the way, Mother's Day is creeping up, so if anybody wants to order tea, now is the time.
Indeed.
So last Tuesday.
Can we do that again? And can you look at the camera, not at your notes?
Oh.
Thank you.
Yes.
So it's Mother's Day coming?
It's Mother's Day coming up. And so if you guys need to order tea, now is the time, okay? Get your orders in. MrsMcCartney'steas.com, shoppy and order, and it'll be sent to you.
Post-haste.
Post-haste, yes. I was going to say toot sweet, but I've had a little drop of stuff on my cornflakes this morning, so a little more relaxed than usual, if that's possible. But last Tuesday, due to numerous requests, we reran Jim O'Hare of Parks and Rec because it's the 10th anniversary of that great show. And so many people said they'd love to see it again. And I'd forgotten just how raunchy Jim is. He's a lovely man. And it's up there, archived on MrsMcCartney'steas.com videos, if you want to look at it again. But he is a great guy, doing a lot for charity and a heck of a lot of good things. So I admire him so much, and I, advise you to tune in and have a look. But today, drum roll, please. Yeah, we're happy to have filmmaker and friend and neighbour, if you will, Barry Murphy. Hey, come on, Barry.
Edges stage right.
Yeah, Barry Murphy.
Holding his lens. You brought a lens with you.
No, I'm nerding out a little bit. This is actually a little coffee with
With a little fortification.
a little fortification to take the edge off a
Yeah,
little bit.
you need it.
I do.
Yeah, would you rather lie on the couch before
We
you
might
go?
need to do that at some time. This is,
Anyway, listen,
quite
Barry.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's not nerve-wracking. Don't be ridiculous. I knew you when you were...
Can I also real quickly say how much fun I think it is that you called the man raunchy and lovely in the same sentence?
Oh, yeah, he is lovely and
That's
raunchy.
one of my favorite things about you.
Wait till you see what she calls you.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Not over yet. So listen, I know how busy you are with your, Allan the Dog movie and editing and ready to launch it on the world. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's a total passion project. I know we hear that word a lot, but it's something we worked on. It was like 23 drafts of the script, and then we had started and stopped a million times. Finally did a little Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign, raised a little bit of money. We both worked like crazy. My partner and I saved up a bunch of money, and then we finally went and did it. And it was the craziest, most fun thing. I don't know. We're still in the middle of it. We're still putting
Yes, I
some
know,
music in, some
tweaking,
visual effects
yeah.
and stuff like that.
So I
but,
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's
right.
gonna hit enough nerves between like the crowd who loves the raunchy Ted sort of stuff, but
Yeah.
a little more heart and story to it.
Yes.
There was a movie called Happy Time Murders that came out in the fall, which was this big budget movie, but really didn't have a lot of heart to it.
Yeah.
When you look at the reviews, that's just not my opinion. But so we definitely think we've struck a chord with it, and it's super exciting. Yeah.
I know what
What's
little
the
bits
story?
I've seen
What's it
so
about?
far.
Well, so a talking dog and his owner are trying to make it big as comedians in the world, and they both fall in love with his new dog walker, who's human.
Oh.
So that causes a big rift between them as they try to launch their careers. So he's very emotional. And yeah, he's a fun-loving guy. He takes you on a little. It's the structure of the movie Rushmore, if anyone's ever seen it. It's very
Oh, yes.
similar, where like you're sitting there and he constantly is going after the teacher, and you're sitting there going, this teacher is never going to fall in love with the 15-year-old. That's sort of the same
Yeah.
emotion we're going for. With
Oh,
her.
great. Great.
Yeah, so we got Stephen Weber from Wings.
Oh,
He's
yes.
in Ballers. He's in 13 Reasons Why. He has
Yeah.
a new NBC sitcom coming out.
Love
Sam
Lovely.
Daly is also in the movie. It's Tim Daly's son.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Sam has a big Amazon original coming out. Everybody's been talking. It's funny. He's in this Hulu commercial. It's been on like crazy, and a lot of the Playa folks were extras in the movie.
Yeah.
So they think it's hilarious. They're like, hey, was that actor from the movie? Allison Hazlitt's another super talented actress. She's in the movie. So we got some names.
And who's the voice of Allan the Dog?
That's my partner Steve. He's the writer in the movie. He was the constant the whole time. I mean, he kept the levity on the set the whole time. We had a younger crew because our budget was a little tighter. But through the film school I went to in Chicago, we got these guys. And we had these guys cracking up the whole time. And we had him under tables. We were burying him behind trees, trying to get him in places. He's not exactly a small guy either, but he never once lost it. And I know him well enough to know when he was going to lose it. It came close.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, man, Steve's the best. And he really is. Every time I've had that neurotic, weirdo director-editor thing going on, he's the calming force at all times. So without him, we'd be lost.
He's the yin to your
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can we expect next? When?
So the plan is in about a month from now, we've got some chances to take it to the Netflix and the Amazons and the Hulus and stuff like that. We're probably gonna go that route as opposed to a festival route.
Yeah.
There's always a chance they have this new thing in this constantly evolving world of doing like college tours where you go out and you rent the theaters at colleges, and that helps boost the social.
Sure.
So it's really, we joked around about it. I'm a horrible self-promoter, which is terrible for this business, but I have the right people working on that sort
Well,
of
that's
stuff.
fine, as long as you can blame somebody
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
So it's not my fault.
Yeah. Self-promotion,
Yeah.
never been a problem for
No,
me.
real
Got
hard
no
to-
talent and got nothing, but what? Am I going to tell anybody that? No. I need to look at my notes because I
So
know.
I'm curious as to
Why don't you come and sit here?
You started out by editing, correct?
Yeah.
Where did that? You went to film school. Where did
Well, I went to film school, but more of a broadcast journalism major. I'd done like film techniques and stuff like that, and then I was doing like multimedia CD-ROMs and all this shit in Chicago. And then out of the blue, I answered an ad in a trade magazine that said "National Talk Show Seeks Editor," and it turned out to be the Jenny Jones Show.
Oh!
So I walk in, I don't even think I turned 24 yet or something like that. And I walk in and I'm like, I don't have a chance in hell. I went out and shot I made a fake demo reel of my friends playing softball and put a film scratch and letterboxed and all this. And I go in and I interview with this guy. And he looks at my resume, he's like, you have no experience. I was like, I don't, but those machines that are sitting in the boxes out there that nobody knows how to use, I know how to use those.
Yeah.
I just TA'd it for 25 hours a week. I said, why don't I work for free for you for 2 weeks? He goes, you would do that? I go, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just locked myself in the room for 2 weeks. And a lot of the producers were younger.
Yeah.
And so you'd go out for drinks with them and all that, where the older editors were your more curmudgeon-y, introverted guys.
Yeah.
And it just worked.
Great.
Yeah, so, and then I go to the Christmas party, I found out I make about half as much as these other guys. So, but I thought I was making like 35 grand a year. I thought I was rich.
Yes.
Wow.
I was like 24 years old.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
But no, it was a great ride, and a lot of those folks have now moved out to LA, so you're still in touch with a lot of them.
Yeah.
And,
So why did you come to LA? How did that
well, we were on hiatus from the show. We did like a school season, and I had this Saturday night girlfriend who decided she wanted to move out here.
Oh.
So she's like, why don't you come with me? You know a bunch of people out there. So I was like, I don't want to go to LA. It's a school in Chicago. I'm not leaving Chicago. No, come out there. So I put together a little resume and a demo reel, come out there, drop her off at her first interview. I go to lunch at Saddleback Ranch of all cheesy places on Sunset. Meet these guys. They just sold a hidden camera show. Looked at my demo reel. Hey, why don't you maybe come out work? And I'm like, just blowing smoke up my ass. Go back to the pool, get all sunburned and drunk. Like the sunburn where you can't even
Take your
hurts
shorts off.
yeah. And I get a call and I open my flip phone and it's some, I don't know the number, 323 area code, and it's, hey, it's John from earlier. We want you to work on the show. I was like, oh, hey, thanks, John, but I don't think I want to move to California. He's like, what if I pay you this? And he says a number, and I'm kind of buzzed. Put the phone down. I'm like, is that per week, per month? I've never heard of a number like this. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do it for that. I was like, when do you need me? He's like, 12 days. Like, so I got to move my whole life to California in like 12 days. But we ended up coming out. We worked up on Sunset, and it turned out to be the hit Chelsea Handler's first hidden camera show.
Oh my!
So it was before anyone knew her. It was called Girls Behaving Badly.
Yes, I remember that.
And to this day, her and Borat are the only two people that I could watch a cut 20 times over, and I still am like, oh God, I can't believe you just said that. So, and she was really playing the independent comedy scene at the time, and our friend who was the head writer on the show would have me over for Easter, so I spent many Easters with her back, and she was just as funny, like just as raunchy, just, you would love her.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not quite sure how I would take that if I were you. Raunchy, you would love her.
Raunchy seems like a compliment around here.
Yeah, it is.
Around here, yeah.
It is.
It
So
really
is
is.
twat.
Not so much.
Yeah. So tell us.
So yeah, that led into a couple big, like some of the big earlier reality shows in the early 2000s, like we did the Joe Millionaire type shows, where it was spoof shows where you're always playing a joke on somebody.
Yes, yes.
And that spawned into, I got lucky and got into Mark Burnett doing Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader when it launched.
Oh,
and I was really lucky. I got to do the pilot of Shark Tank, the pilot of The Voice, all these cool shows because at the time, their staff editor guys who'd been there forever, super talented guys, were all on Apprentice and Survivor, and they were 40-something weeks a year, so these guys weren't going to leave to take a shot on a pilot.
No.
Right.
But eventually, I did do a little Apprentice
Oh, yeah?
with our current president. I did
Do
the
tell.
last 2 seasons before he became our president. There's not a lot I can legally say, but yeah, I mean, you can imagine how he was. But one of the funniest stories was our executive producer came back one day after he would go to the shoots with him, and he comes in the edit bay to watch a cut, and he goes to me, he's like, man, Trump just said the craziest thing to me. He said, he's going to run for president. I was like, get out of here. He's like, yeah, I don't know. He really has this stick up his ass that the country's going to shit. And I'm like, wow. So we just laughed about it.
Yeah.
And then as you're editing over the next couple months, it became a little more real. And then it was like, he might not do another season of the show. Like, he's really going to do this. And we were just like, holy shit. He really is.
Imagine. Yeah.
So we still kind of laugh at it because that same crew of guys are all great people. The showrunner's a great guy. They ended up doing a season with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
Oh,
And then remember
right.
Trump came out and blasted it like it
Oh,
was
I
total
know.
shit for some
Oh,
reason.
I
It was just
know.
like so unfair,
Yeah.
typical him.
But isn't it fun to have been a part of all that?
Yeah, like
Part of
I
history,
I
really.
feel it is a long time ago now, but I still feel close to a lot of it. But it's cool to be a part of some of those first shows where some of these
absolutely,
people
yeah.
first got their name out there, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And so would you ever, like on The Voice, for example, because I know we have a lot of music fans that watch, would you ever get to go to the set, or they just...
Yeah, most of the times on either a talk show or a game show like that, you're actually editing there.
Oh.
So you get to go down whenever you want, pretty much, and kind of see. Sometimes what Mark Burnett did, which was really smart, is he would bring the supervising editor into the remote truck for game shows. So we did season 1, and he'd be like, and you try to be very respectful and not say anything. I mean, you're not really supposed to be in there, but if you at lunch you talk to the director and you say, hey, at any time, I'm really just here to make sure we get coverage, make sure we get the cutaway of the board and the cutaway of the sign, and make sure we get the numbers changed from 10,000 to 25,000 to 50,000, all that stuff. I don't want to step on your toes. But this guy Don ended up being the nicest director possible, and so that was a really cool thing. So then when you'd go back to edit the first show, they would want to see something in a week. You knew where all the bodies were buried, which was great.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like you are your own script supervisor, because we're shooting a thing in August in Houston, and Martin has volunteered to also be the DIT guy, on the set, digital information technologist, on the set, because if he's logging the footage on the set, when he comes to edit it, he's going to kind of know where the good stuff is and where the bad stuff is.
We had a DIT on the set of the movie, and I didn't realize how valuable it was. Like I was like, oh, it's going to be valuable. Didn't realize how valuable.
Yeah.
He was taking the raw 4K footage, letterboxing it, putting our film LUT on it, and making 1080 files, so we had dailies every day.
Right.
And he was talking to the DP, talking about exposure in certain shots. It was really valuable. I mean, I knew it was going to be valuable, but not that valuable.
Well, I suppose you can always learn, even at
Oh
your
yeah.
level.
That's part of doing something for this cheap was that you really thought you knew what the second assistant camera did, and now I really know what they do. And now I know why when we tried to cut it out of the budget that they were like, no,
not going to work.
Yeah. So there were certain jobs where I was like, oh, okay, I knew that was important, but now I really get it all, which is really cool. So hopefully we get to do it again for real money and
Right. Oh, I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
No, so you speaking of movies, you one of the early things you cut. See what I did there? Your teeth on? Cut. Edited joke. Was our friend Pat Healy.
Yeah. No, working on Pinche Burro, which became Baja Beach Bums, was super valuable because at the time I had never done a feature. I'd done some shorts, and Adam Pockross, our great friend, was living with Pat at the time.
Yeah.
We were in I don't know what we were doing.
Right.
We were at some Halloween party doing beer bongs off a deck, and he goes, "You got to meet my roommate. He's got this movie just sitting on his computer. No one edited it." And I was like, "Well, I've never edited a feature." He's like, "Just come up and meet him." So we talked, and Pat was, and he's like, "Well, you've never done a feature." And I was like, "Well, you don't have any money, so let's try it. Let's see what happens." But within 1 or 2 nights, we were clicking, and working with him has been invaluable because the way he gave feedback, the way he gave notes, he did it the right way. There's a right way and a wrong way to approach an editor, and you can lose them pretty quick if the first thing is negative. So even if Pat didn't like a cut I did, he would say, "All right, I think we're making some good progress.
Yes.
Do you think you could try this?" Like, he might want to rebuild it.
Tactful.
But he was wonderful to work with. We scored
was
one of the
lovely.
craziest parts is we scored the whole movie with this really fun music, and then ended up turning in the submission, and it was $1.5 million for the music, and we're like, okay, so we have to rescore the whole entire movie. So we still have a cut of the original, which is really funny, but great experience, and he had worked in the film business for a long time, so I still consider him a mentor and a really good friend.
Involved in something about
He
Mary,
produced,
wasn't he?
yeah, he worked for
All
the
the Fairly
Barrel.
Brothers
Brothers,
movies, some great cameos.
Pat
in there.
Healy, it's the name of
Matt Dillon's
Matt
character.
Dillon's
That's
character.
right.
We still bring it up quite a bit.
Yes.
PR, the man's a killer, is a great line.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
No, but he's still a great resource. He's
Yeah. Oh, he's a
still
lovely
somebody
guy.
who, as soon as we're done with this next rough cut, I'm gonna definitely have him watch it, get his feedback.
Yes, I see.
Yeah,
Good.
for sure. So
Yeah. There's
Well,
a lot of talent, isn't there, in Playa
There
del
sure
Rey,
is.
Yeah,
right?
sure. We're
Well-
just not Playa Vista.
That's right.
don't you dare.
Yeah.
We don't want to be
It's
playing
almost
this
like the
stuff.
Napa
Yeah.
San
Yeah,
Diego.
that's
Don't
right.
say
Yeah.
the N-word.
Yeah, yeah.
San
Don't say
Diego.
Sonoma, right?
Naples,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So don't cut $1.5 million worth of music in Allan the Dog.
No.
So because we can help you there.
Yeah. Well, we're there. So next week I'll be bringing you a rough cut.
Oh, good.
That's
Excellent.
We'll go on Music Supervisor and see what we can find.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
definitely need that.
Yeah.
Berry to
yeah.
berry.
Do your deal.
Yeah, one of our former guests, our dear friend Barry Coughing, runs musicsupervisor.com, and he has 400 and something thousand pre-cleared tracks of every genre and every stripe in the Amazon Web Service cloud. And so basically what they've done at Music Supervisor, they built a Google for music soups. So you can go in and you can say, this key, that genre, this subgenre, this sub-subgenre, that tempo, female vocal, Turkish language, blah, 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 and it will just go through the 400,000 tracks and go boom.
Wow.
And then you can license them right there, and all of the paperwork gets done through the back end. It's fantastic.
That's nuts.
So we'll
it's very similar. We're using a lot of Pond 5 footage. I mean, those services popping up like crazy for
That's right.
beautiful drone B-roll. And
Right.
you're like, that's $400 for a 4K shot, but are we really going to go out there, try to like shoot
Spend
by the
$3,000
airport
right
and like,
Yes.
crash the damn thing and
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Pay for it. These guys are working hard to do
Yeah.
it.
The-
It's funny, we needed a basic shot of a POV of looking at the Hollywood sign. So we jump on there thinking there'd be a million. Not one. We couldn't believe it.
it's
so,
copyright.
So we went
Yes,
over there
that's right.
actually and rigged a car rig, drove up Beechwood where I was so scared because I'm like, the neighbors, first of all, are militant.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
got these parking enforcement guys, but we got the shot, but it was too bumpy.
Oh, crap.
And then we ended up using like a GoPro mount and got a very clean shot, which was really funny.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Wow.
but
Oh, you went up there twice?
well, with the GoPro mount,
I'm calling for it.
but the other mount was suction cups. It was a car mount, and
Yeah.
the
Still
parking
got it.
enforcement guys looking at me like, "What is wrong with these guys? Like, you can't
Google
come here."
Maps.
Yeah, it's
Google
like.
Maps.
So I was like, screw it. What's the worst gonna happen?
That's a good point. You could always tell somebody you're working for Bing Maps.
Yeah, just make
That's
it up.
right.
Just map in the neighborhood.
Ways we're trying to get the traffic not to come this way.
Yes. Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
that's right.
What about Waze? Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
gosh.
So there are some streets down in Silver Lake and Echo Park in downtown LA that literally, like Apex Street and Effie Street and all of those, they literally go up at a 45-degree angle and then the same down the other side. And if you're trying to get sort of off Silver Lake, off Sunset onto the 101 at rush hour, Waze have been sending people up there. A couple of weeks ago, a limo got teeter-tottered at the top. It went up and it tried to go down the
Get on
hill,
the other side?
and the wheels wouldn't land on either, either way.
Sure that-
So thanks, Waze, for the
yeah,
laugh.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
There's a reality show, Waze Greatest Hits.
I do think there's a reality show out there to totally change the subject called Shitty People, where you find just bad people.
Talk to me.
And you hidden camera, follow them around and voice over it all with somebody like Sean Phillips.
We can help you there.
The voiceofsean.com.
Yes.
And it's seriously, and you got to come up with a fake social name and throw it out there because there's so many shitty people out there.
Really?
But there's none in your immediate family, of course.
Borderline, but no, I wouldn't.
Nothing you'd like to tell us? No, I won't ask.
No, Barry's a glutton for punishment. Let's just say he's the father of a 2-year-old.
Yeah, he beats me up.
Speaking of which, where is the kid? I mean, didn't you...
That's a good question. I know
Little
Tommy shamelessly brought his daughter
Yes.
here, and
she's stoned.
he's putting her on his
Stoned.
new CD cover. Of course, he wrote many songs about how she's ruined his sex life, which is great.
No, so
He's
sweet.
actually in the movie too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So 2 of his greatest hits make the movie.
Oh, good.
I won't ruin
So
it.
it will be X-rated then.
Pretty
Tommy's
close.
involved.
Did he change the lyric to "Bitch has dogs"? Maybe?
No, we actually kind of, this is a very dog-heavy show, so we kind of, I know you guys are going to like this, we kind of throw cats under the bus quite a bit. In this
Oh
show.
dear.
They're the glutton for
Hashtags cats are assholes.
So Bitch Has Cats is in the
yeah.
movie.
Oh,
Great.
good.
Okay.
Oh, which means I'm in the movie because I sang the backgrounds.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, star at
That'll
last.
be $15,000
Yeah,
for the
right.
cruise.
I saw a celebrity roast where Rich Little was doing Don Rickles.
Oh,
Did you ever see that one? And at the end,
Yes.
he tells about doing the impression of him. Then he got a bill in the mail for $75,000 for him doing the voice of Don
Yeah,
Rickles.
I know.
Anyway.
I love that.
Yeah.
Rich Little Satire. Anyway, you were saying, where is Little Murph, who has his own Instagram, by the way?
Yeah, he's at daycare. His mom runs his Little Murph 17 Instagram, which is super
Oh, really?
popular from what I heard.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a trip, and he's funny. I know everyone's very biased about their kids, but his personality is just incredibly sweet. I think it helped having kids
Yeah,
way
do you
later
know
in
who his
life.
father is?
I don't.
No.
I've been told he looks a little like me. I don't see it. But,
Oh, I do.
Oh my God, he's like your mini me.
when he's in the bathtub playing with his penis, then I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
that's my boy.
That's
Yeah.
where he got it from.
Yeah.
And I still think it's funny to watch myself pee in the bathtub. So does he.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
But you said he's always like bumping his head and.
Yeah, well, you pick him up at daycare and there's a bruise here, which is funny because I had 2 older brothers who were 10 years older than me, and my mom would come, she was a waitress, and she'd come home from work, and I'd run up to her and have these marks. So they taught me how to run before I could walk, which essentially was just prop him up and push him forward. And then they'd stand in front of a wall at the last second move and watch me bang off walls. Thank God there wasn't cameras then. So she'd come home and the neighbors would be like, "Are you beating this child?
Yes,
What's wrong
I'm
with him?"
sure. Yeah.
And I don't remember huge portions of my life, so I think there's some
Well,
concussion
maybe.
syndrome.
Who knows?
So Little Murph's a chip off the old block from bumping his head, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a headbanger.
He does some good knucklehead stuff.
Do you think you'd go into the film business?
No, I hope not. I don't know.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
know though. I don't know what he's gonna do.
No.
It's a little early.
It's a bit
Oh
early,
yeah, it's a tad early.
It is, but maybe not.
There was some early talk about like somebody who my wife works in radio had talked about bringing him to some audition for something, and I was like, that was the last thing we wanted.
Really?
Hollywood
Can you
dad.
imagine that?
Yeah.
Just-
Hollywood
No.
dad.
It's the exact opposite. It's everything
Sure.
I cringe about.
Yeah,
You
it
see
could
the
make you a
lines
lot
of
of
people
money.
waiting to get on a
Yeah.
show, and I'm like, good for you guys.
Stage
Just
balls.
I'm not built that way.
Yeah.
And knowing what the casting process is like
Oh,
is
yes,
such
I
a
know.
dirty racket. Like,
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's soul destroying, isn't it? Another one of our friends, Kevin Ging, I see him now. He moved to Chicago, but I see him now more on TV that he doesn't live in LA. It's kind of like this reverse. You live here, we're not going to cast you. You move town. Now
we have a director
That's
friend, Kathleen Randazzo, who her and her husband Sal, who's a Chicago guy, moved to DC for his job, and she was worried because she was working out here.
Yes.
Sure enough, she goes there, and she's like, they think I'm a celebrity here because of all the stuff she had done. So when
That's
she came
right.
back here,
Yeah.
now she's directing a bunch of stuff, and
great.
so
Yeah.
she was worried about it, and then she's like, it turned out to be one of the coolest
Yeah,
things.
it's amazing.
Well,
isn't it?
it's the big fish in a small pond theory, isn't it?
Yes, that's
if you've
right.
got a
Yes.
great resume and then
Yeah.
you move to a smaller town, you're the rock star on the block, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
I guess.
yeah, but what I was thinking, when I knew you were coming over, there's so much talent in Playa del Rey, isn't
There really is.
Yeah.
I mean, especially musically.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody like the Del Rey's band, but like all you guys have these. Like, I'm super intimidated by the musical talent here. Like, you go over to somebody's house and they're just having this jam session, and everybody can play something, and
That's
I'm like,
right.
in the corner, like maybe
Ross and
banging the
Healy and
Yeah,
then there's
but-
your velvet-voiced Sean Phillips.
Sean, and now like Pac can play some drums. He does
That's
a little
right.
bass.
By the way, Poc Ross, I call him Nobrot.
Now, bro,
No,
does he
no.
know that?
It's public now.
Oh,
he
yes.
does now.
With a K, K-N-O-B.
He can be
R-O-T.
sensitive about that sort of stuff.
Oh, well, no, not anymore. I introduced him to his wife.
Oh, you did? You
Oh,
did?
yes.
Well, we
They
did.
met here.
He can never be mad at you. You have the.
Yes. No.
You have him there.
That's
Changes
right.
his life.
We got
That's
it.
right. Yes,
Absolutely.
I
He eats good every night, as you can see.
Yeah, I can, yes. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing like a Brit chick to keep a guy fed. I'll say that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
indeed.
Yeah.
What was it? The way to a man's heart is through his stomach and his shorts. But
Shorts.
there,
Parentheses.
Stomach
that is
first,
not a
yes.
farting sound. That is Martin making Nespresso in the
Brought
background.
to you by Nespresso.com. Get your fix today.
No, it's not. It's brought to you by Mrs. McCartney's Teas.com.
So are you going to do another
Oh,
video tribute for
Yeah.
your next birthday? That was one of my
Oh,
favorite
I don't
things to
know,
do ever.
really? Oh, okay, maybe.
How long ago was that now when she
Oh
did
my
that? That was
God.
one of the fun.
That
I
was
still
my
tell
80th,
people about
wasn't
that.
it? I'm
Yeah.
going to be 90 in November.
Oh, you got to do it. I know.
Well, we got to
Okay.
do that. We got to
Yeah.
have a party.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's
Maybe
right.
And
everyone can
Martin
wear
was
the
hoping his
the-
mother's
the
coming
wig
from Germany.
Yes.
in the video.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
indeed.
So-
There you go. We've got a series of these little hair hats.
Oh, that should be the best impersonation. I like that.
Yeah,
She's
Mine
the
is
silverhead mop top.
yeah.
Speaking of silver, this is great
Mother's
for
Day.
This is great for Mother's Day.
Yes.
50 Shades of Earl Grey. Keep your Mother's Day
Oh, really?
spicy, baby.
That's
yeah,
pretty
keep
hilarious.
your mother
Absolutely.
happy. By Joe.
How many different brands do you guys have?
11.
Flavors. Oh,
Yeah.
11 flavors.
Yeah.
And we
How
have
many years have you been doing it now?
about 12 years. It's a good while. So we have
Have
11
you ever
flavors.
thought about doing like any marijuana infusion?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
we're actually working on that right
yeah.
now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Absolutely. With a couple of
I'm
Angie
happy.
writes a peripatetic. Do you like that?
Oh, I like that.
Sort of bi-monthly column for Sensi.
Do I?
For Sensi magazine, and it's if anybody's got any marijuana, CBD, THC questions, you can go to sensimag.com/ask Angie,
Ask Angie.
and she
Yeah.
answers all your pot questions.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
a
And
good
if I don't
Well,
know
if
the
Granny
answer-
says it's okay, right? Come on, Dad.
Yay!
That's how every podcast starts.
That's right.
Now,
Yeah.
I use CBD topically on all my achy
Yeah,
breaky
yeah.
parts.
I tried getting my mom to do it. She was totally freaked out by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
just wouldn't do it. I'm
Well,
like, Mom, you gotta do
Put
it.
her on to me, I'll do it.
That's why, and she's also talking to another huge company in San Diego about being a brand ambassador for some of their stuff, because it is that age group of
Yeah.
women, you know, slightly younger than me, and then all the way up to antediluvian, that are just terrified. They think it's reefer madness.
Right, right.
They
Yeah,
still do,
yeah.
and so that's
No,
why.
I don't smoke the stuff, I never have, but I've got it in a little tube and I put it on my back when I get up in the morning.
Yeah.
And, oh, it's amazing.
It's funny, I was never a smoker, and then
Yeah.
when I moved to Playa, which I was going to tell you guys that ridiculous story too.
Oh, yeah.
So I was living, when I first moved out, I was living in this high rise in Brentwood, which was totally not me. Go to a Halloween party in Playa at one of
Yeah.
these beat up duplexes
Yeah.
that we all know and love so well. And I'm in there and I'm dressed as like a fat transvestite. I have this crazy outfit on with stockings and wig and the whole makeup
lovely.
and everything. And Slipknot. Yeah.
That's
This
really
guy in a luchador wrestling mask comes up to me and the music's like jamming. He's like, "Hey, I heard about you. You should move here." I was like, "Yeah, Playa seems great." He's like, "No, you should move in here." There's like a hole in the wall. There's like, I don't know what's crawling out of the bathtub. So I'm like, "Really?" I was like, "I don't think I can afford it." And it would turn out to be only like $750 a month because it was Paula Jones's old place.
Oh, yeah.
And it was only two of us in a 3-bedroom across the street from the beach. And they're remodeled. They knocked down the house across the street, so we had an ocean view for
Oh,
like a year.
lovely.
It was insane at the
I knew
time.
there
But
was
so
something-
that's how I found Playa. But that same night, we ended up at La Marina.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And I there's pictures of me kind of like leisurely getting carried out of there, like with my arms around these two older women at the time,
Very nice.
dressed in my ridiculous suit.
Oh, lovely.
And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where Charlie Way was.
Yeah.
And it's what, 100,
Yeah.
100 feet to the right. So I'm like calling people like I'm lost.
lost.
Because there was really no lights. That's my story. There was no lights back there.
The sign is tiny.
It was tiny, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to walk into the ocean and drown in that suit. My
Oh,
parents
God.
have to see me in a transvestite outfit.
There you go.
I already struggle with my life. My dad thinks I fix TVs for a living as it is. It's like,
Oh, he thinks that's what editors do?
yeah, I think one of the first Christmases I went back or something, like the TV's fuzzy. And he's got the hanger in there with the tinfoil and the whole
Oh,
shtick.
lovely.
And he's like, "Hey, you turn a look at this thing." And I go over there and I'm like, "Meh," you know, like,
Yeah.
what is happening? You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, you need a new whatever." He's like, "Well, what are you good for?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Don't you fix TVs?"
Oh,
And I was like,
God.
"You really think I went to college to fix TVs, don't you?" Like,
Yeah.
and at that moment, I was like, "I don't think we ever need to talk about my career ever
No.
again." I was like, "Wow."
Oh, lovely.
So then I just tell him I work on Shark Tank. That's all I tell
Yeah.
him. Because it's
Oh,
the
well,
only
okay.
show he knows. And I
Yes.
did work on it. So
Yes.
he'll always ask me, oh, so when you talk to Cuban, can you tell him? I'm like, oh, yeah, I talk to Cuban all
sure,
the time.
well, like that.
He's one of my buddies.
Me and the cube, like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. I was like, God forbid he knew half of the stuff I worked on.
Yeah.
I think I should start telling him.
What
just
I
working
do
for
want
him.
you to tell people
Yeah.
on camera is where they can find
Oh,
you.
yeah. So the movie is Allan the Dog Movie.
With 2 L's.
Yeah, ALLAN, The Dog Movie, and that's our Instagram and Facebook, which is our main thing. I think our Twitter is like Allan the Dog Film or something like that, but we don't really use that very much. But that's where you can totally go on, see stills from the movie, little clips from Allan talking the whole time, and then we'll probably have a trailer, I would say, in the next few weeks as
Great.
well, which will be kind of fun.
Well, once you've got a trailer, why don't you come back and tell
Yeah,
us?
no, I'd love to.
Plug.
But yeah, please
Shameless
follow us. Is that what you
self-promotion.
tell people? Follow us, click on us,
Yeah.
like us, all that fun
Absolutely.
stuff.
Did you write a little something for today?
I
Angela?
did. It's a little
Limerick!
little limerick.
We used to finish with we used to finish
Voluntary.
with sort of parodies of songs and things, but Facebook kept taking it down because of the copyright.
And it would cancel the entire show. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, the whole show just
Really?
disappeared.
Oh yeah. So
And all of this wasted.
because
Can you imagine?
because of your past history, where Ange penned this little ditty,
Little ditty
Oh,
this
okay.
morning.
for you
yes.
in your honor. So
Okay.
are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. In these times of political rancor, from Donald right through to Ivanka, it's so hard to choose who will win, who will lose. But whoever is surely a wanker.
Can you say wanker on Facebook?
think you
We'll
just
know in
did.
a few minutes.
I think you
Okay,
did.
well, thank you very much, Barry,
Thank
for
you guys.
coming.
It's
and
really
we'll see
cool.
you again
Thank you.
soon.
Always great hanging out with you guys.
Cheers.
A little
Cheers.
cheers.
Here's to the coolest cup in history. There's mothers.
give me one close up into the camera.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Are we taking a picture of
Here we
myself?
are.
Yeah,
Cheers.
you
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
You
yeah.
Keep that position, please.
We're holding. Don't spill your drink, missus.
Oh, God.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we
You
go.
make me look tall and
Yes,
thin.
yes,
Yeah.
done.
Bye.
Okay.
Nice.
Bye, bye,
All right,
kids.
kids.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
See you next week.